Hello there, I'm Jonathan Downey. We're here for the fifth and final week of the 4Cs. I hope you've really enjoyed the series. It's been great fun to record and video. It's been great fun to put out there. I'm looking forward to seeing more feedback. This week we come to the C that many people think you cannot teach, but I think you can at least help people get the general idea. This C, this week, is creativity. Now, creativity is something that people have been studying for years. They've linked it with all sorts of things. You've got mind maps about creativity, you've got drawings, you've got studies, and still defining creativity is very, very difficult. I want to give you an easy working definition that defines creativity in public speaking. Creativity is finding the most effective way to help others. Now again, this goes against a lot of what you'll have heard. Creativity to some people is about making their talk as fascinating as possible. It's about showing off how wonderfully flexible they are with words, how wonderfully flexible they are with illustrations. But that misses the point. I think I've drummed on and repeated throughout the 4Cs, that public speaking is about helping others. It's not about making you look great. And so if creativity is finding the most effective way to help others, creativity is something you can acquire through study and practice. It sounds odd to say that you need to practice creativity, but that's the way it is. The next video series I'm going to put on the blog, some point in the near future, is going to be about how I went through the process of creating a talk from nothing and what the end result was like. The point is that until you try new things, until you read about new ways of communicating, it's very difficult to be creative because all you know is the rut that you've been in. I know that certainly that was my experience. Until I started reading books and watching talks where people did completely different things, I didn't know how to be creative. And so the first principle about creativity is to look around. Look at what others are doing. Inside your field, outside your field. Perhaps you might want to copy something from clowning, I don't know. Perhaps you might want to copy something from stand-up comedy. Look at how other people are presenting and see what you can add to that. See what you can borrow from one field and put into another. Think outside of the box. Maybe you could preach using some ideas from stand-up comedy. Maybe you could do your next scientific talk with a physical illustration that people can hold and touch. Well, hold on a minute. That brings me to the next principle, and that is that creativity is all about learning. How will people learn from your talk? How will people know what to take away? What will be their abiding memory? I said all of this in the content week. Yes, I know, but I'm coming back to it. There are several different ways that people can learn. Some people need to get their hands on things. Some people need to do something. Some people like music. There's a place for music and presentations. Some people like visuals. Some people like smooth and wonderful words and catchy phrases. The point being, the more of these things you can incorporate into your talk sensibly, the more effective it will be. And the more people will be wowed by your creativity when all you've done is taken an idea from somewhere else and adjusted it. But there's a further principle of creativity which I think is often missed. You know you're getting to the point of being creative enough where you have too many ideas to fit into one talk. Not just too much content, we all have too much content to fit into one talk. But when you have ideas that you would love to use, but there's no way it fits into that talk, that's great. Keep them, you can use them for somewhere else. The more ideas you can generate, perhaps jot down on a notepad, a physical one or a digital one, it's up to you. The more stores you have for other talks where you need to be even more creative, or where you need to dial things down a bit. Perhaps creativity for you means simplicity. When was the last time you did a talk without PowerPoint slides? When was the last time your PowerPoint had no words? When was the last time you dressed differently to everyone else? When was the last time you told a talk in story form? When was the last time you sat down rather than standing up? Very simple ideas. But often, if you're anything like me, you can go too far. Occasionally, I've pushed things a little bit further than they needed to go. That's why I get constant feedback. One of the lessons I'm learning about creativity is it has to be part of your talk, not an add-on gimmick. It has to make sense. If your talk is the kind of talk that's going to have an emotional effect on people and perhaps make them cry, you probably don't want to do it rap style. Maybe you do. On the other hand, if the point of your talk is to help people memorize things, you might want audience participation, you might want rap and rhyme. You might want to find a theme. What creative way of handling your material works for your talk? It sounds like I'm oversimplifying, and in a way I am. The C's we've looked at in the past 2 weeks are a matter of experience as much as anything else, but they can be learned. And they can be learned with help. They can be learned with grabbing friends who've heard you talk and saying, how do I connect better? What can I do that would be more creative? Many skills in public speaking that people think are natural are not. They're just the result of good old hard work, and creativity is one of them. So as we come to the end of the 4 C's, the message to me hopefully has been clear. First of all, public speaking is not about how much content can you squish into people's heads in one go. It's about finding the most effective way to help others. It's about centering what you're doing around 1 or 2 core messages and finding the structure that best helps people learn. It's about connecting, putting other people first. And it's about always trying to be that little bit better every talk, that little bit more creative, that little bit more smart thinking. So these are the 4 C's. They're not things that you can learn in 1 week. In fact, I recommend that you go back over the videos and keep looking at them. Send them to someone and ask, what's my weak point? Which of these 4 do I need to work on the most? And get someone who can help you in one of these 4 areas. Coaching is a tremendous thing. This is Jonathan Downey signing off on the very last of the 4 C's. I hope you've enjoyed them. Leave comments. See you next week.